friend, Zani Rhoda Salvatore. How you guys doing tonight? I don't know if it's obvious by the way I'm dressed right now, but I'm pretty high. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. Something kind of weird happened to me today. I was driving my car and I hit a deer. Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't even mean to. I felt super bad. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, I was smoking some weed, you know, like earlier that day, and I think I blame my grandma, you know, because my grandma, she's like an old hippie, you know, but she's also an Italian woman from the East Coast, which are two very conflicting identities. You know? So she says funny things sometimes, like, I'm an empath. And I'll be like, well, what does that mean? She's like, are you fucking stupid? It means I can sense other people's emotions, you know. It's ridiculous, you know. I love this town. I love being in this little hippie town, you know. It's one of the few places you don't have to seek the esoteric. Like the esoteric seeks you. You know, you'll be walking around, you'll see like a flyer for homemade wicker furniture. Is that a couch or a call for help, you know? Crocheted leggings in the summertime. That's uncomfortable for you and me, you know? It's ridiculous. I've heard people talk about perfecting surrendering their ego. I don't think that's possible, you know? It's ridiculous. Everyone here, too, they look like they go to Burning Man. You know, I had a friend who went to Burning Man. You know, I don't know if you heard about it. There was a big storm, you know? All those people with horoscopes and nobody fucking predicted it. You know? It's ridiculous. You think, you know? He told me about it. He said he had to escape Burning Man, you know? He had to hike 6 miles in the dark with everything he had strapped on his back. And that's a backpacking trip, you know? Maybe because you were high on ketamine, you know, He asked, he was like, well, why didn't you go to Burning Man? I was like, oh, I had my own, actually. I invited a bunch of friends over. I threw some mud in the air, butt chugged some MDMA, and then secretly tried to fuck all their girlfriends. Yeah. One after one, yeah. It's ridiculous, you know? I love being from this place, you know? I love going to the river. You guys like going to the river? I think it's hard exposing new people to the river around here, you know, like, here's a true story. One time I was bringing, you know, my Christian girlfriend to the river, and we were taking like a mile hike, you know, a super beautiful place, and the whole time she's complaining, you know, it's too long, she's tired, she's going, oh my God, Jesus Christ. She's Christian, that's really bad, you know, like, so we get to the head of the trail, you know, and guys, it's beautiful out, like, the sun is sparkling, the rocks are glittering, and her jaw drops, looking out at the water, you know? And then all I see is a naked man bent over a downward dog. So that fucks my picnic date, you know? Maybe I can save this with a PB&J, you know? So I'm walking her over, trying to make corny jokes, isn't it booty full, you know? And she's super remiss, you know? And then this guy, he comes up to us. Imagine how awkward that is for me as her boyfriend, you know? But imagine how awkward that is for her. It's a young Christian girl. It might be the first time in her life she's ever seen a dick. This lucky bastard. She won't even look at mine, you know? He comes up to us, guys, and the only thing he says is, thank you and good night. Like it was a one-man performance, you know? Public nudity in front of 2 minors, you know? My girlfriend has lifelong trauma. I got a self-esteem boost. It was cold outside, to be fair to him. But, yeah. So now, you know, imagine I'm realizing the patron saint of the river is a creepy nudist, you know? We're walking out, you know, and all my girlfriend has to say to me are 2 words. Thank you and good night. Yeah, it's hard. I was single for a little while, you know, and I was going on these dating apps. You know, I don't know if you guys have done that. It's really hard now. I actually went on Tinder and I matched with a polyamorous couple that owned a bird shop. You know, you could do that. I didn't even, you know. And I made a joke. I was like, "Oh, does Polly want a cracker?" And they got offended by it. I was really confused. You know. Imagine that. It's like a lifeless relationship. They're trying to spice things up, by bringing someone in, by fucking him, and I'm like, I'm the weird one? I don't think I'm the weird one. It's ridiculous, But the guy was like, no, we can't have you because my wife doesn't believe in your views. She doesn't respect your views. And I was like, that's weird because your wife doesn't respect you. That's why you asked me. I've had chlamydia 3 times. I don't know if that's a little too awkward. It's ridiculous. I know I don't look like the guy maybe who gets around. I look like I get mugged by the wind. But I know. It's been weird though. Like, the first time I went, it was super embarrassing because my mom also found out I wasn't a virgin, and at the same time realized I'm a terrible person. I'm not. The second time I went in, and they were looking at me, they were like, "Oh, come on, man, not a." This woman was like, "Hey, you got to realize when you leave here, like you have to use something. You have to use protection for your." I said, "I won't ever use a Snickers wrapper again." She hated it. She did not. When I came in the third time, they're like, "You didn't break your leg? What the fuck? What are you doing here?" And I went up to the doctor, and I felt almost too comfortable. I said to him, I was like, "Hey, doc, by the third time you get the clap, is it the applause? Or the encore, He was like, "Get the fuck out of my office. You're the one Linda was talking about earlier." It's ridiculous, I like smoking weed. Do you guys like smoking weed? Yeah, we all like smoking weed. I get tired of defending smoking weed in this day and age, though, Like, I got in an argument with this old weed-hating guy, right? And he was like, weed is a drug. And I was like, well, it's used for alternative medicine. People use it all the time, no one's ever OD'd from it. He was like, yeah, well, it still impairs your driving. I was like, so does alcohol. They sell it everywhere. He was like, sir, get the fuck out of the car with your hands behind your back. You need a joint, dog? It's ridiculous. Everyone around here I knew used to smoke, grow, or sell weed. My dad, he did all 3. And now you can't do anything with it. The game has changed, He told me the other day he tried to sell 3 pounds. This guy offered him a bag of goji berries and a goat. My dad was elated. He's like, I got some goji berries. The market's rebounding. Fucking ridiculous, Yeah. But it's weird because it's still good weed. Like I'll be smoking it. I was smoking some the other night, and I was having some problems. Like getting too high. Trying to write something funny in my journal. I'm on the couch, and there I am having problems with the elevation. I have to melt to the floor, And I wake up from this haze, and all I see in my journal are 2 words: something funny. That's good weed, Oh. I can't believe it. I learned too when I get high, I have a history of family anxiety. My family says things about me, and it makes me incredibly anxious. Things like, you could be a little taller, you should go back to school, why is your dick out? You won't let me be me. You gotta love your family though, guys. You can learn so much wisdom from your family. Watching my family together has shown me that men and women love differently. If my grandma died, my grandpa would be in denial. But if my grandpa died, my grandma would be in the Bahamas. She'd be enjoying herself, True story. I remember one time, my grandma got sick and my grandpa was there at her beck and call. And when my grandpa got sick, my grandma gave me a call from the nail salon. I was like, Grandma, are you supposed to be with the love of your life? She's like, Zonnie, I'll be honest, he's really bumming me out right now. That's not good, Grandma. It's ridiculous. It's weird watching, my family, watching my grandparents, because, I love them so much, but they're getting senile, But I am proud to say for the first time in my life that my grandpa's behavior is presidential. There's a lot like Joe Biden. Yeah. If you can't avoid shitting yourself at the dinner table, you can't run the country. No, they're a lot alike, they stay off for things in public, might trip on a pair of stairs, rub a girl's hair they don't know. I'm like, Grandpa, that's, and I get it, guys, it's hard to watch Joe Biden up on stage. He's like, I think that we need to help fight. I think, do we have chocolate ice cream? I want to try. And my grandpa's sitting on the couch like, man, I like Joe Biden. And I love chocolate ice cream, It's It's ridiculous. He's the worst polling president we've ever had. His biggest achievement so far has been avoiding stroke, you know. People say, because I say, well, the last man put his name on a stake, you know. People say to me, well, Zonnie, what would the founding fathers think if they saw Joe Biden running this country? What would the founding fathers think? Like, the founding fathers, we hear the public, why the fuck are women in the building? Black people got on the vote. Guys, it's a different time, you know, contextually. So gender's weird. Sorry if that's an awkward transition. Wink, wink. The other day I was at a park, I was talking with this girl and I was trying to, I was making a joke. And I was like, I put the D in LGBTQ. Dyslexia, right? and she actually got mad. It's so PC now. She was like, D represents a sexual identity. She was like, D represents Devonian. She sexually identifies as a reptile. That's what she told me. I was like, as a reptile, that's cold-blooded, I guess. Eat flies in candlelight, you do push-ups in the sun, I was super confused. I was like, I didn't even know you could do that, And she got mad, and so she was walking away, and I was like, all right, later, Gator. And she just looked at me all hissing, like, it's ridiculous, Gender's weird now, I was at a party talking to my friend, and we were kind of getting blackout, and I got brought up, and, he was saying, when you black out, it's weird because it's like an inner part of you comes out, like your inner subconscious, like a part of yourself you didn't know. My friend said, well, if that's true, my biggest fear when I black out is someone will say I'm gay. I don't think that's the alcohol, It's not like I catch you sucking dick after 2 Jaeger bombs, like, this isn't the real me! But I ended up drinking too, guys, and, I ended up in his bed the next morning. My biggest fear, I think, is being lonely, It's ridiculous. I don't know why I feel lonely. I feel down sometimes, I wish I, just feel a little more positive. Like, I saw this girl the other day. She was 300 pounds. She was walking around with a rape whistle and a can of mace, and I was like, man, I wish I could be that optimistic. Too much? Too much? Yeah, it's ridiculous now, though, The internet, it's like, it just makes you, it's changed people, People are so depraved, post things because they can. It's obnoxious. Like, I saw this girl I know named Katie. She was like, I'm officially a SoCal girl. Which makes sense. Because unofficially, for 18 years, she's been a bitch. It was ridiculous, People complain all the time, when they're on social media. They say things like, I don't have enough followers. I don't have enough followers. Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, he only had 12 followers. And you're complaining? Yeah. I don't like getting too touchy about religion. Maybe you guys, I don't know. It's okay if the priests do it, right? No, but I will say this. When I've talked to different Christians, they've told me things to reassure me, They say, hey, when you die, don't worry, because you're surrounded by your entire family in bliss. And I asked, I was like, well, what happens if you're good? My whole family? Every one of them? No, it's ridiculous, Yeah. I don't like talking about death too much, It's kind of weird, I was actually talking with my girlfriend the other day, and she brought this up, and she was talking about death, right? And it was super uncomfortable. And she said, is there anything that would drive you to suicide? Right? And I said, earnestly, I was like, if you died. And she thought that was incredibly romantic, right? And I was confused, because I was like, what's romantic about murder-suicide? It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you guys so much. It's been so much fun. Thanks for coming out to support the local comedy. Please welcome back your host, Tyler. Thank you guys so much.